Hello and welcome to another Full Court Press podcast.
A college basketball experience. How's it going, LT?
Oh, this is exciting. We are here at one of the top and hottest teams. But before we start, just don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Follow us on Instagram and all that other garbage. So we got a coach that's team is pretty hot. And I'd be curious to see if they were not called the Rams or the Aggies, what would you be called?
That's all I know is the Rams. You know what I mean? I guess we already have two names, right? We're the Rams, and then on certain nights we're the Aggies. You know, we were the Colorado A&M Aggies. That was our founding name. So every year we'll do an orange out. Those are the original colors, and so we still do have some Aggie gear, but we are the Rams.
Yeah, you are the Rams. Do you like the orange, though? Like, be honest.
I do.
Yeah.
It's actually something when I was an assistant here and Tim Miles was the head coach, we actually started that tradition here. One day we decided to wear the throwback jerseys. I think we even wore practice jerseys the first time, you know. and it's really taken off here. So every sport will have an orange out game, a throwback game. And you go to the bookstore and around town, it's really kind of a cool thing that's unique to us.
Yeah.
And so I do like the orange. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy, Coach. I mean, you've seen UK, so you were an assistant here under Tim Miles, like you already mentioned, and you came back in 2018. Last 6 years, so many changes in college basketball, right? NIL, transfer portal, COVID. Like, what's it been like to navigate a program? And what you've really put your blueprint on the Rams. What's that look like right now?
I mean, the only thing that's constant is change, right? And it's kind of like that in life in general. And obviously, there's always been change and evolution. I mean, I tell people I can remember when it was a big deal with, oh my gosh, we're actually going to allow you to text recruits. Oh my God. And then I remember when it was like that midnight, and the next day it was going to go into effect, and it was kind of like the whole 2K thing, right?
And who's the first kid you're going to recruit?
Yeah,
that's the
like,
kid you want the most.
Oh my gosh, like if we're not texting at midnight, we're following. And everybody thought like this was going to end, about a month later. Oh man, that wasn't that big of a deal, right? We adjusted. Now, obviously, the changes now, there's so much happening in a short period of time. I've never seen this much change in so many ways. But, I'm not the Debbie Downer maybe like everybody else. I think that some of the changes, while they're hard, and it changes some of the ways that we've done things, I think some of them are probably necessary a little bit just for the way that the game is changing. And so we're all going to have to change. I do feel like from where we are today, 2 years from now, it will look different even, but it may even be steadier than it is now.
Do you think so, though?
I hope so. I hope
it needs to be, right? Because it's becoming the wild, wild west.
I think a lot of it is when all this change happened, it's very, very difficult for people to look at it, and they kind of want to go backwards, right? Is there some way we can stop this? Can the government get involved and go back to the way it was? I think we're finally realizing that it's not going to go back to the way that it was. We've got to find a way to evolve and change. And once I think everybody accepts that, which I think is starting to happen, then I think we can all come together and figure out what's the best way moving forward, you know, for everybody. And I do think that once we can do that, we can find a good path going forward. Yes, it might be different than what I started, in there, and I get that, but that's the way life always goes,
Yeah, but to have like a 25-year-old player who's been on 4 or 5 schools. Yeah. I mean, there's some players. It's like if you're recruiting that guy, are you trying to get your PhD from Colorado State?
Well, I mean, you know what? Listen, I mean, I always tell people, we've been fortunate. We have a player on our team right now, Isaiah Stevens, who stayed here for 5 years. I think sometimes, listen, players have the ability to transfer. Okay, but I think you'll also see as time goes by, there'll be some guys who transfer 4 schools in 4 years, but that won't be everybody. I think people will look at it and say sometimes a change is good, but I think there'll be people who will stay too. They'll look at it and say, you know what, the grass isn't greener. I've got what I want here. And sometimes, it becomes the trendy thing to do. And just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. But I'm not going to sit up here and complain about it and whatever. This is the new norm, and we've got to find a way to make it work. And I still think in recruiting, you do have, you've got transfers, you've got the NIL stuff, which is all a part of it. But still in some capacity, if you're going to be successful, you still have to find a way to build a team. You still have to get guys that care about winning, that care about getting better, that care about competing. And I think you can still have a group that cares about those things. And yeah, they're getting a chance to get compensated with NIL. They have the opportunity to move, and that's what they want. So I think the trick is can you still, even though it looks different, find a way to still do the things that are, core to you and your program. And I still think that's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it like to have a guy like Isaiah Stevens who's been here since day one? And like, we talk a lot about the recruitment through the transfer portal, but what about the attainment and a guy like him? Have there been difficult conversations during the off seasons with the attention he's gotten on a national level?
No. I mean, with Zay, there was never having to recruit him to bet. I mean, I think with him, the recruiting was his experience here for the 4 years prior. I mean, I think that he had an opportunity to look at what his experience was in the program. That gave him the clearest picture of what it would be like moving forward. And I think in his particular instance, he looked at it and he said, you know what, I have a great relationship with the coaches. I have a system and style that I believe in. I get the opportunities to be successful. I'm getting better. I like the culture here. We had been winning at a really high level, and although last year we took a step back for a lot of reasons, some were in our control, a lot of them were out of our control. I think he felt like we had an opportunity to be really, really good again this year, and he wanted to stay here, and the legacy mattered to him. And so, although he maybe hasn't been the norm, I think you will see other kids that will look at it and say, you know what, it makes sense for me to stay where I am because I'm having a great experience.
2 words: illegal Pete's. He took me there yesterday.
We hit up
Really?
Illegal Pete's last
I
night.
haven't been there in a while. It's a good spot.
Your whole Colorado State women's team was there.
Were they really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good spot. There's some good spots here.
It's been great. First time I've ever been to Fort Collins, and I can understand why. From a recruit, like for you recruiting, I mean, you get them here and you see the culture and the town, and you see a lot of green, and it's a really unique experience.
It is. I tell people like the best and most challenging thing about our job is our location. And what I mean by that is, the best part about it is simply where we're located. People who come here, it's one of the best areas to live in the United States. The campus and the community is unbelievable. It's like being in a resort, being outdoors. The people are in a good mood. The sun's out all the time. Yep. We get great support from our administration. But the challenging part is if you get in the car and you drive 5 hours any direction from campus, you're in the middle of nowhere. Right?
I was in the middle of nowhere Saturday night. We went up to Wyoming.
well, that's part, but I'm talking, if you just get in a circle and radius, you're either in, a mountain town, you're up in the mountains somewhere, you're in a cornfield somewhere if you go east. And so my point is we don't have these we're isolated, right? We don't have these other metropolitan areas around us. So what does that mean? We recruit in state a little bit. But you're always on an airplane recruiting, right? It's more difficult for people to get here on unofficial visits. You got to get on an airplane to get here, and you have to get on an airplane to go recruit. Right. Where a lot of times we're recruiting against another program or a kid who's got options that are within driving distance, right? And I think kids are moving around to different places. Yes. But my point is, once we get them here, yes, it's one of the best advantages we have, but it's also a challenge because we are isolated geographically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You guys started off as one of the hottest teams in the country by far, and you guys got national spotlight by week 2, week 3, week 4, and then you guys have stayed there ever since, right? And then you go into highly competitive Mountain West conference schedule. What's been the kind of message in the locker room this season, and just kind of how you guys started and where you guys are at right now?
Well, I think, we've tried to keep it really consistent, and we thought that, when these guys came here in the summer and we had a team, we thought we had a chance to be pretty good. I think what we were picked preseason, I think maybe was it 5th by the media, 6th by the coaches, whatever it was. I think we all felt like we had an opportunity to be pretty good.
You're 5th by the media and 6th by the coaches.
What did I pick them as?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
But it was right around there.
Who's the coach that pisses you off in the Mountain West?
None of them. Linder. Linder pisses me off. He pissed me off because we were up 11 with a minute to go and he beat us in Laramie. That made me mad. But we've got a tremendous group of coaches in the Mountain West.
That's what he was saying earlier. Like you have and you look at like the pedigree, yourself, Linder, Coach Rice, San Diego State. I mean,
Dutch or Steve
Alford. I mean,
Alford,
it's
Danny Sprinkle's
Kruger.
coming to
I
you.
mean, it's
yeah,
crazy.
we've got a great group of coaches and great programs who really care about basketball, invest in it. We got great fan bases, and so all that stuff is off the charts, and that's why you're seeing the success that you have in our league. So
yeah. Do you see that being sustainable, like with the players and the coaches? From a long term, because I consider you guys Power Six, because I mean
100%. It's a high major basketball league.
You look at that, and some people say you're mid major, which
we're not.
I won't even get into that because that's another conversation.
Yeah.
Not even close. But is it kind of sustainable? Because people think you should win every game. I mean, let's be honest. It's like Kentucky. We're going to segue to Kentucky for a second. Kentucky lost 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
People are calling for his head in Kentucky.
Yeah, well,
that's
kind of our. But to be honest, I mean, that's just kind of, that's kind of the way of the world with everything. We live in that side. In the same point in time, they're ready to. You win 3 in a row, and they're ready to like build a statue and say, "Oh, national champion." I listen to everybody say, "Well, UConn couldn't be beat," right? And then they go to Creighton and get beat.
I was one of those people.
But that's what makes our sport so great too. Anyone, that's why the NCAA tournament's so special. Anybody can beat anybody, right, on a given night. And so this isn't best of 5 series. It's not best of 7 series like the NBA. Any night, anyone can beat anyone. It's what makes it great. But you ask me if it's sustainable. I do. I mean, this will be the 3rd year in a row. We had 4 teams in the last 2 years. San Diego State obviously made the run to the national championship game. This year, if the tournament started today, which it doesn't, I think there would be 6 teams in. Do we get 6? I don't know, but I feel like 5 will get in. You know what I mean? Unless barring some crazy deal. So when you start putting in that amount of teams 3 years in a row, you're doing something right. And I think with the Pac-12 dissolving, I think we have an opportunity to be the premier basketball league on the West Coast.
Yep.
And I think it's crucial, and I think we are, that the schools and the programs continue to invest in basketball and continue to make it a priority. Because if they do, I think that this is sustainable. Like I said, we've got great coaches, great fan bases, and I think we can recruit high-level players, and we can play at this level.
Yeah, especially if they expand the field to 226 teams, like they're talking about. I mean, can you imagine? Everybody gets a medal. Everybody gets in.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, I don't know what to think about that, and I think that the NCAA tournament's the greatest sporting event.
Absolutely,
it's very pure. It's just one of the last things where everybody kind of has a chance, right? The little guy does, the big guy. It's so cool, and it just kind of captures the whole country there, for a couple of weeks, and it's really cool. And it's a magical thing to be a part of. The tournament will expand no matter what they're saying. No matter what they're saying. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. And I might get into trouble for this, but the one thing they will say, and there's some truth to this, is such a small percentage of men's basketball teams get an opportunity to play. What's the percentage of football? You go 500, you get to a bowl game. You go 500 in basketball, they're, say, had a bad year, right? Yeah. But I think what's going to happen too when the power conferences have all aligned. Well, you think about it. How many teams does the Big 12 or Big 10 get in the tournament right now?
All of them.
9. Well, today,
no,
but not.
Right.
But
8 or 9.
But okay, so let's
year,
just say the Big 10. Let's say they're getting 8. Okay. Well, now when they add UCLA, USC, Oregon, and Washington, you think they're only going to be okay with 8?
No, absolutely not.
That's not going to happen. Like, they're the power brokers are going to continue to want access, so they're going to create. They're not going to say that's okay.
Right.
They're going to find a way, and there's still a lot of money in our tournament. And when that TV deal is renegotiated and whatever, the tournament will expand. How that looks, I don't know. I hope they don't make it too crazy, and I still hope that they allow access for the smaller leagues with the auto bids and all that stuff, because I think that's what makes it great.
So I think what you could do, and we talked about this last night, is you can have like another first 8. So you could have 2 sites with 8 teams. I can see that working out, because I think the 8, everybody was against it, but if you really look at the first 8, has been really good, like the first 4 games.
Yeah.
So I can see maybe you do a Dayton and somewhere else, which would be great. But it's ever evolving, just like the transfer portal. It's like my kids, right? They're ever evolving. I don't know what they're going to be like that day. It's kind of like the NCAA.
Yeah.
College basketball is going to be completely different a decade from now.
Yeah, for sure. And it was a decade earlier.
Right.
And so again, like, listen, I'm like everybody else. I mean, like, it's been a lot to try to figure out here over the last 3 years. But I'm not going to sit up here and act like, the whole thing is panic mode and we've got no path moving forward and everything is, I don't live my life that way. Yes, we got change, but I have faith once we all, like you said, figure out that this is not going backwards. Right. Okay. It's not. So let's get over that.
Right.
And I get annoyed by the people who still like this. It's not. So let's figure out where we're going here.
Yep.
And what's the best path moving forward. And there's probably going to have to be some sort of collective bargaining, revenue share kind of deal or whatever. And maybe that is the best path forward. But hopefully we get some smart people in the room and come to grips and we can still
let's figure it out right now. There's 3 of us, 5 of us actually. Got
Nobody-
Jono and Ryan too.
Nobody cares what I've learned this. Nobody cares what I think. So
We want to do this?
Yeah, let's do it. So, Coach, what we do, we call it the shot clock. It was initially quick
Worst name ever,
fire
'cause you
questions,
understand.
but some coaches are just going, they're taking a minute or two.
Coach Linder didn't even answer one of the questions. So.
Well, we don't have a shot clock in high
I
school
know,
basketball.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're going to have some
yeah.
fun with it. LT is going to fire off 6, 7 questions.
All right.
First thing that comes
Yep.
to mind, we'll just have some fun with it.
Okay.
All right. One word to describe CSU.
Stalwart.
Hashtag stalwart.
Asterisk stalwart. I can't spell stalwart. One word to describe the Mountain West, which you've probably been asked 3 million times.
Tough.
Tough. Okay.
Exactly what Linder just said.
Okay.
I love it.
Well, you know what? Can I go another
yeah, go
word?
ahead.
Unforgiving.
Oh, that's a better one.
I like that one.
I like that.
That's a couple syllables too. Toughest place to coach at. What was the toughest place you've ever coached at? Atmosphere, just where you couldn't hear yourself think. The fans were calling you every.
Duke.
Really?
Yeah, Coach K. Done that a couple times with my team. Once here and at Furman, and it's a different deal.
Yeah, my high school coach played there. I mean, this was like the late '80s, and he was telling me just how ruthless the fans are.
Yeah, it's
The chance they have,
yeah.
and it's like.
There's some great. The Pit, the Spectrum, all the stuff in our league too, Viejas, but Duke, there, Coach K, and the Cameron Crazies or whatever. There's just nothing like it.
Okay, that's a good one. What's your favorite arena to coach in, not Colorado State? Not
Gosh.
we're not trying to think you're going to have.
And it crazy. It's I would say, if I had a couple, I think Cameron Indoor was just because you're getting an opportunity to just coach in one of the meccas, and you're looking down the sideline, and there was Coach K, and you're like, man, this is unbelievable. And you're saying not in our league.
No,
or just in
general,
our league.
Yeah, just in your general. Anywhere.
I would say, I would say that, and I think Viejas and the Pit are just they're just tremendous environments.
Air Force likes it.
Yeah,
Air Force likes the Pit.
Well,
It's
again,
crazy.
That's why I just said the Mountain West is unforgiving.
Anybody can win on any given day,
It's
and
what
that's the
makes
beauty
college
of it, right?
basketball beautiful.
Is there an arena that you haven't coached in that you want to?
I have not coached in Allen Fieldhouse.
Oh, we grew up both KU fans,
Okay,
and he's
I'm
from
sorry.
Kansas
Yeah,
City.
yeah.
I'm right outside.
But that would be one that I have not coached at. That would
It's
be
like
fun.
Cameron Indoor.
Yeah,
a
that's
little
what
bit
I've
bigger.
heard.
It's
That's
awesome.
what I've heard.
All right, greatest recruiting win.
David Roddy.
He was decent.
Yep, he worked out pretty good. And Isaiah Stevens right there too.
Yeah.
So
He's not
those
in the
guys,
room. You don't have to
those
tell him
guys
that.
are, yeah.
Funniest. I got 2 more for you. Funniest recruiting story.
Oh my God. I don't even know where to go with that. I'd have to think about. There's
So here, let me.
many. Yeah.
I'll
Okay, help
kind of
me.
think.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've had
We've had some good ones.
Coach Schertz from Indiana State literally ate bad chili, multiple bowls. Coach Kaufman skydived. What did who else? A couple others. We had some that picked up a recruit at 7 Flags or 6 Flags to take him to the recruiting trip. They're on their official visit.
Donnie Jones stalked Mike Miller.
Stalked Mike Miller for
a
like
year.
months.
Like
Stalked him.
I won't say the name, but I remember going to a recruiting visit in a colder climate, pretty cold climate, and we were supposed to do a home visit. And the recruit's dad and mom never let us in the house. We had to sit outside on the porch and do the visit. Yeah, it was very bizarre.
Did you get him?
Well, that's another story. But that's another story.
Okay.
But I think that was a precursor of things to come. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 more. Funniest coach you've ever had on your staff, or you've coached with, you're on someone else's staff.
Oh my gosh. Funniest coach. We've had a lot of really good, like, jovial guys, but I'm trying to think of somebody who's actually funny. I'm going to say Brian Cooley on my staff right now.
Nice.
Yeah, he can make you laugh. Yeah.
Good. All right, last one, and this is a tough one, and usually we have to ask the wives and stuff like that, but we're going to ask you, song that best describes you.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
We've had everything from hip hop to Frank Sinatra
Grateful Dead
Grateful
to
Dead.
Sade,
It's wild.
Smooth Operator. What else have we had?
So what's your walkout sign?
I'll go with Juicy Biggie Smalls.
Oh.
Yeah.
There we go.
You didn't see that one coming,
No,
did you?
I did not.
Yeah.
I did not.
Just right in your face,
I
right?
did
Like,
not.
yeah.
We're pretty nicely. We're big East Coast hip hop. So
I
it's
like,
all good.
there you go,
awesome.
man. Like,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
you respect that, do you? Yeah.
100%, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So last, we're gonna kind of turn the platform over to you last minute. You know, I mean, you guys have 3 regular season games and then the conference tournament. 2 of those games are call them revenge games. You know, teams you lost to earlier in the season. Anything you want to share with the kind of Ram faithful, student section, boosters? Anything to kind of look forward to the next few weeks?
I'm boring that way. I mean, they know I say the same thing. I mean, I just said the league's unforgiving.
We'll change it up then.
Every
Say something different.
I mean, every game is brutally tough. I think the key is you got to just stay in the moment and, just ask, what does the standing say? And I just think once you start looking ahead or you start living in the past, like good or bad, you're just in for it. And so it's really just keep our head down. We know we're winding down. I think there's only 12 days left in the regular season or
crazy?
whatever. It is crazy. And so, every day, right now means everything in the moment, and you got to focus on that. And right now we got to really, really tough Nevada team at home tomorrow, and that's the only thing that matters is to go out there and compete our tail off and fight for victory. And you know what? Hopefully we win, but win or lose, you gotta just keep going.
Yep.
You gotta tell people you gotta have a short memory and a strong chin.
A fish. You know how long the memory of a fish is?
Goldfish.
Yeah, I mean that's So Ted Lasso would say be a goldfish. You know what I mean? And I say hey, have a short memory and a bad memory and a strong chin. And if you do that, you got a chance to be successful.
Awesome, Coach. Thank you so much.
We
man.
appreciate having
Thanks,
us.
guys.
And good luck the rest of the season, man, and congrats on the season you're having.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. After an interesting interview with Coach Medved. Sorry, I'm Canadian, Russian hockey. I'm still amazed at the song he picked. I'm going to ask you what song best describes it, but we've got Isaiah, the man from Colorado State.
Welcome, Isaiah. Welcome to the Full Court Press podcast.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah.
So you've had a interesting career here at CSU, man. Talk a little bit about that, man, and national spotlight. A couple of those years, and then this year specifically, your Wooden Award finalist, Lute Olson watch list, Naismith finalist, Bob Cousy Award finalist. You're...
Wait, you forgot the other one, the Full Court Press podcast, National Player of the Year finalist.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
There's only 4 people on it so far, so you're leading it.
Okay.
Recognized as one of the best point guards in the country, man. So congrats on a really good season, and I want you to kind of talk a little about what the season means to you.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you running off that list. I didn't even know about a few of those, but
Especially the last one.
especially the last one. But man, my career here has been nothing short of a blessing. I've got an opportunity to grow as a man, as a player. I graduated from here already, so was able to check that off for me and my family. Just growing up as an adult here, came in as a 17, 18-year-old, and I'm going to be walking out as a 23-year-old. Yeah, you cut me off with that one. But, man, as a 23-year-old. But I got a chance to play right away, play through mistakes, the ups, the downs, and just build upon a career that a lot of people wish that they'll be able to have. So.
Yeah, it's amazing. So take me back to your high school days. So what were your kind of top 3, top 5? Did you have a top 12? Did you have the unveiling?
Nah, man.
It's like the top 12 and they're in the transfer portal. What were, because why I'm asking this is we've had a lot of players. We're probably one of the only podcasts that have players and coaches. And it's really interesting to find out who was recruiting them, in high school. Who were some of your finalists?
Didn't have a top 12. I had a top 3, though. My final 3 was CSU, University of San Diego, and SMU. So
you're one of the top
3
players in the nation, okay, and not one Power 6 offer.
The one offer that I remember getting was at the end of my last summer from Mississippi State with a different staff than they have now. But that was it.
But
and
it's
it was
just-
kind of late, so
right.
I don't even know how serious
Right.
it really was. But
So with
Yeah.
with the transfer portal, I mean, your name's been thrown out there year after year, right? And
Yeah.
we talked to Coach Medved about like just the loyalty that you just have brought to the program over the past 4 or 5 years. Was there any chance that you were going somewhere else when you've had a couple good seasons here? Or was this just kind of the set decision that you had since day one?
Obviously, when you're a little bit younger, you start hearing about the transfer portal. Things start to get a little bit more enticing, a little more interesting. It's a whole lot easier to be lured away from different things, especially at that age. But I just always found myself weighing the pros and cons, and it always brought me back to CSU. Didn't really flirt with it too heavy in any particular year. But I feel like almost any player, like you start hearing through the grapevine that so-and-so is interested, you start perking your ears up a little bit, but nothing was convincing enough to ever pull me away from this place.
Right. It's pretty crazy with NIL and transfer portal.
Yeah.
Like the NIL is, I think, long overdue. You know, in how it should be used. I mean, obviously, it's not supposed to be for recruitment, and it has, and it is what it is. But the transfer portal is interesting because you've seen guys, and you might know guys, you know, friends, even teammates that have been at like 3, 4, 5 different schools.
Yeah, definitely do. And everyone has their own journey.
Right.
I try not to judge anybody for moving around, bouncing around from different schools, because you never know. It could be a coaching change, or they honestly might not just be given an opportunity and they want a different outlook from their own land. So I try not to judge others for their decisions. But for me personally, my family, we've always taken a great pride in being in one spot, being loyal to somebody that takes a chance on you and gives you an opportunity. And honestly, I've had a dream career here, so I feel like I made a good decision.
Yeah, dream career is an understatement. You're the leading scorer in school history, leading assists in school history. You need 4 steals to tie the school record, 5 steals to beat.
We're going to be in attendance. Can you get that tomorrow night?
Nah, that's the plan. If I get 5 steals tomorrow, man, I'm sure it'll be a lot of pat on the backs, man, for my coaching staff. So hopefully we can make that happen.
That's going to be wild. And then last year, you were injured early in the season,
Yep.
right? Like, what was that like to have to sit out for 10 games? I think it was to start the season, and was it mentally challenging? And like, what was kind of that bounce back to where you're at today?
It was very tough. I had never dealt with a super serious injury at any point in my career. Obviously, being an athlete, the bumps, the bruises, you might tweak an ankle here or there or something like that. But never dealt with anything that was going to have me out for an extended period of time. So I didn't really know what I was getting myself into as far as the road to recovery, mentally, physically, the monotonous days that you kind of don't think about when it first happens. And I give a lot of credit to my family. Number one, they were there for me from the minute it happened. They were in my ear, just keeping me positive, keeping me uplifted, helping me understand that this thing isn't going to last forever. And then secondly, man, the coaching staff and my teammates were unbelievable. They helped keep me engaged. Coach Medved had me coaching different teams during scrimmages, just any way to keep me engaged on the sideline, voicing my opinion. If I see something, he'll ask me at the drop of a hat, what would I do differently? And also just my teammates, man, just, playing the video game with me while I'm sitting there in the booth. But those different things I definitely didn't take for granted.
With kind of helping out, like coaching, being a kind of a student coach, has it made you ever wonder, like maybe down the road after you stop playing, you'll get into coaching?
I've tried to look into some different career paths here lately, but I honestly think it's going to end up in coaching.
Yeah. What are some of the other career paths? Because we can tell you what you shouldn't do or should do.
Sure,
so
man.
We're here for you.
Hey,
Man.
the podcast business is booming right now, man. I love talking hoops, and I'm sure if you ask these guys, I probably talk too much.
Yeah.
But it's definitely stuff as far as like marketing and endorsements and pushing products and different things for different companies. I feel like I've always been drawn to. I feel like I'm pretty well spoken, so if I'm giving a pretty good understanding of what I'm trying to say,
you're doing okay.
people.
We're giving you a solid C right now. So that's good.
Hey, that means we can
I'm
get
just
better
messing
though.
with you. Yeah, there you go.
I think you'll be. I think everybody in the world knows you'll be playing at the next level here and stuff. And you're third in the country in assists right now. The other 2 guys that you're very close to, you're ahead of them in assist to turnover ratio, which is a huge point guard measurement, right?
Right.
I mean, you're protecting the ball, but still dishing it out and getting points on the board. Do you keep track of those stats? Are you seeing like what Kolec's doing at Marquette, like versus like what you're doing on a daily basis?
I think it's definitely a lot easier to see kind of those more high-profile guys.
You know what Ryan said?
Ryan.
SID?
Oh,
Yes,
my
I did.
SID. I didn't know if we were talking about somebody
He
else.
said, you know what he said to me? And this kind of hurt a little bit. Shed a tear to both our eyes. Well, it's amazing what you can do against DePaul. And I said to Ryan, you know we're all both DePaul grads.
I like that, though.
Yeah. Kolek gets to pad his stats with a couple soft.
Nah,
Vegas
man,
teams,
he
so
is he's an incredible player, though.
You ever played against him?
I haven't. And like I said, man, super talented, sees the floor really well, and he's a lefty, so
Yeah.
that kind of adds a different
Yeah.
element to the way his game comes across, man. And he can do it from all three levels too. So he's really talented. But kind of those guys that are near the top of the list, I know Elijah Hawkins is up there from Minnesota. Like the Big Ten, Big East, those guys are always on TV, so you definitely get a chance to catch a lot of those games.
Samir Torrance.
Yeah.
Samir Torrance, yeah, mid-major. He's
Yeah.
up there. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're like,
nah.
who's that? You're like, I don't know who he is.
Nah, but
Yeah.
the Torrance piece definitely
Yeah.
sounds familiar.
Yeah. Have you ever? So I mean, the goal is have a strong season, make the tournament, make a good run, maybe win it all, and then after season, you're going to be looking to try to play NBA. Have you played any pickup with any NBA players just to get kind of a feel, because it's a different ball game, right? It's faster. It's the best of the best.
Yeah, I have. This past summer, me and a few of my teammates went out to L.A. We were out there training for about a week or so. A couple of our guys live out there, so they invited us out and stayed for the week. Their families are unbelievable for taking us in, so I definitely want to give a shout-out to them. But, we were out there training with a guy named Jordan Lawley. He runs a big training service out there, and he had NBA guys left and right in there playing. So,
who are some of the players you're kind of like in awe of?
the one that really caught my eye was Reed Travis. Klay Thompson was in there.
He's okay.
Yeah, and it's
He's
crazy
not
how I
starting.
didn't say
He's not
him
starting
first, right?
anymore.
It's crazy how I didn't say him first, but it's just so crazy to see like everyone kind of give him a whole lot of slack for how he plays through the ups and the downs of a season. But if you watch him in a pickup setting, nobody even comes close, man.
Yeah.
And it's just incredible to see like he might not miss a shot for 10 straight minutes. So.
And it's funny to see some of these guys. I've played pickup with some, I'm older, but they were playing in the NBA. But after, they might have played like 4 minutes in the NBA. Then you go play pickup. You're playing with current NBA guys, and the guy's the best guy in the gym.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this guy, he didn't get his right chance or the right opportunity.
For sure.
But it's
different level. So former teammate of yours, David Roddy. So you saw him go through this process. Was that helpful to what you're going through right now? A little
For
bit?
sure. And me and him, we communicate every week. Maybe not every day like we used to, but he's in a super busy schedule. We're in the thick of things ourselves. But we definitely make an effort to continue to talk about those different things and also just be an open outlet to let each other know how we're feeling, what we're going through, what we're dealing with. Also, me just going through it myself this past off season. Testing the waters was also a really cool experience. So
yeah. So you had lost 2 games in a row. You got a couple more games ahead. What's kind of the message, because you're the leader of the team? What's kind of the message to the team and moving forward?
I think it's exactly what you just finished that statement with. It's moving forward.
Yeah.
Can't hang your head on what's already been done. We went to Vegas. We fought. We went to New Mexico. We fought. It is what it is right now. We got to watch the film, pick up, learn from it. But at the same time, there's another team coming in here on Tuesday, tomorrow night, that's super eager to get a win.
Good team, too.
Super hungry to get a win. Very talented. A lot of size and athleticism on their team. And we got to be ready to play because we know they will be. So you got to flush what's already been done and bring that edge.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you look at like Air Force beat New Mexico in the pit. Like that doesn't happen. But like this year, like your coach was saying, Coach Niko was saying, like anybody can win.
Yeah.
Talk a little about the Mountain West. It seems like you guys are getting some respect put on that conference this year.
Yeah, high-level league, man. I think it's something that is getting a lot more recognition this year, but in years past, maybe not as much. But there's NBA guys in this conference. There's high-level collegiate players in this conference. And I think the coaching and the venues is something that doesn't get talked about nearly enough.
Right.
A lot of high-level coaches from Coach Dutcher to a whole bunch of other guys, even
Alfred,
Coach Linder, Coach Alfred,
Patino,
Coach Patino. The list goes on and on. And Coach Niko is right up there with the rest of them. But, yeah, and I think those road environments also are very difficult to play in, but that's what it makes it really fun playing in this kind of league because it's true road games.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Should we do it?
So what do you think?
All right, set it up for him.
Yeah, so we do a little game called the shot clock. It usually goes longer than the traditional shot clock, but LT is going to roll off 6-7 questions here.
Okay.
First thing that comes to mind, just let us know, one word, one sentence, or tell a story, whatever,
Okay.
whatever
Cool.
you feel like. Let's get it, LT.
All right, you win nothing, you get nothing. It's sponsored by no one, so whatever. It makes you look at your life and be like, what? You know, we have had people that be like, still haven't answered it. Favorite college class?
Ooh. Oh, my goodness. Oceanography.
Oh, that's a good one.
There's no ocean around here.
Yeah, I know, but it was a class here.
Bird class.
Nah, it was because it was something that I wasn't necessarily interested in at first. I was kind of taking it as an elective, and then it ended up being pretty interesting.
Okay,
So.
it's like
great.
Canadian studies at Duke. Okay, what's your nickname?
Zay.
Okay, what's a nickname you were given by a family member that you do not like? Because everybody has one.
Everyone has an
I
answer on
honestly don't. My nickname is by my family is Zeke. So
Zeke,
like Isaiah
okay.
Thomas.
Yeah.
But you don't have like an
Isaiah.
aunt that kind of like has, because who do we have?
Nah.
Shouty Wells, he's like, what's your name? He's like, oh, my aunt, Puka.
Yeah, nah, man. All of my family members,
Okay.
my aunts, my uncles, it was Zeke.
They call you
Zay.
Zeke because of Isaiah
Isaiah
Thomas.
Yeah, my dad started it. So either Zeke, Zay, or
Is
Isaiah.
he a Pistons fan?
Nah, but he was an Isaiah Thomas fan.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So is Michael Jordan. What is your most memorable game?
As of right now, it's still probably the UNLV game last year, making just some ridiculous shots down the stretch. But they returned the favor this year. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, that's still probably
Okay,
it.
that's a good one. What is your favorite college arena atmosphere that you've played in, not Colorado State?
I'll probably say the Spectrum, Utah State.
Ooh,
Yeah,
really? Why?
their student section is relentless.
Really?
Relentless.
What were
man.
they saying? Come on, you must
A lot of
remember
wild
things.
stuff. I mean, they had a banner out on the side of the wall that said "Welcome to Hell." So I think that kind of let you know what the
There you
energy
go.
was like.
You should have said, they said, welcome to hell. You should have said, yeah, welcome to Utah. All right. So you got a starting five of current college players. You can't have any of your teammates on it. Who's on your starting five? And hopefully you're the starting point guard.
Right. Definitely me at the point. This is all of college basketball.
Right
Yes.
now, yep.
Yeah. Current players.
Man, got to take Zach Edey at the 5.
Okay.
You ever seen him on
There you
hockey
go.
skates?
Canadian.
What's up? You ever seen him on hockey skates?
Nah, I haven't.
They put photos of him in the last
CBS
game.
showed
He's
him.
like, everybody's here and he's like up there.
Really?
Yeah.
Man.
So Zach Edey at the 5. He's
Zach
decent.
Edey at the 5. I'm going to give some love to some guys that we played against
Okay.
that I thought were really good. Tristan Da Silva at the 4 from CU. He was really talented. I'll go Keon Brooks at the 3 from Washington.
Ooh.
And at the 2, man. I'll go Aiden Mahaney from St. Mary's.
Ooh. That's
Talented.
pretty good right
Yeah.
there. That's pretty good. All right, let's dish on your teammates a little bit. Who's the funniest teammate?
To me personally, is probably either Kyan Evans or Neat Clifford for
Okay.
2 totally different reasons.
Okay.
One is actually like jokes funny, and then
One's
the
a
other
silent
is
assassin.
clumsy.
Yeah.
Just clumsy,
clumsy.
man. Neat
Okay.
Clifford is a different breed, but
Yeah.
that's my guy.
Okay.
That's my guy.
Okay, who would you say is the best dancer among your teammates?
Jalen Lake.
Okay, and best singer, or as he says, because I've got to be hip with the younger crowd, rapper.
Best rapper. Ooh. Can I say a coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you the coaches, but go ahead.
Okay,
Coach,
okay.
give it to me.
So we got 2 of them. One I've only heard on the actual song, which is Coach Shelton from back in the day when he was at San Diego State in
Wow.
college.
Okay.
Coach Shelton, and then CJ Rivers. I heard him freestyle when he was the GA here, and he was actually pretty good. So
Really?
I'll give him that. Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. All right, who's the funniest coach?
Funniest coach, CJ Rivers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who would you say is the worst dancer of the coaches?
Probably Coach Medved. Easy. I've seen Coach dance after a few big wins.
Couple
man.
wins.
Yeah, a few big wins, especially my freshman year, man. There's a video out there on Twitter, I'm sure, somewhere.
We'll have to
Well,
find that
we're
one.
gonna
We're
find
gonna
it.
find
we
it.
So we're
beat-
gonna find it and we're gonna play
We
the
got to.
song.
Yes.
We beat Tulsa.
Is he kind of like the rusty robot?
A little bit, but he got a little flow to him too.
Really?
It's just
Okay.
a little unorthodox.
Yeah, okay,
man.
okay.
They don't make good dancers up in Minnesota.
Be careful, they're rejected Canadians. All right, so what is the song that best describes you, your walkout song?
A song that best describes me.
Like, what's the song if you were coming out for like a WWE wrestling match? What would you walk out to?
Probably Encore by Jay-Z.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want more?
Yeah.
All right. What song would you say best describes Coach?
Ooh.
And he said it, and it was like,
really?
I'm like, he got our hearts. Like he's my favorite coach now. Really? Because that's what this shit I grew
Well,
up
I'm
with.
probably about to be so far off on this because Coach has never played music around us either.
Okay.
So I don't know necessarily what his playlist sounds like. He always talks
What would you
about-
think it is? I mean, he has no rhythm, it sounds like. So that's he's like that sneaky, suspicious one you
Right.
got to worry about.
Oh, man. So that means I need to kind of think outside the box. based
I don't.
on
I'm not
that
saying
statement
that. So
right there.
I'll give you this. I'll give you a little bit of hint. So we've had, and it's not this. We've had Frank Sinatra. We've had Grateful Dead. We've had Metallica. We've had Sade. We've had another one I can't say because it's Coach's. So it's none of those genres.
Right.
Like I'm shocked still.
Right.
So we'll give you the genre. So
Okay.
so it is hip hop,
Okay.
and it's East Coast.
Hip hop.
Man, he kind of strikes me as like a Biggie fan.
Oh,
It
nailed
was
it.
all a dream. I used to
Yeah,
read
he strikes me as a
magazine.
Biggie fan because now that
How about
that
that?
we're talking through it, there was
Juicy.
a statement that he made a couple years back about.
Did he
like,
quote Biggie in the locker room?
It was something, man. I think I was in there with my headphones in. He was
You
like,
know what
do
you should
listen
get him?
to?
Your
And-
last time seeing him, you should get him the Biggie Smalls, like just the
album
face,
cover?
just
Just
the
a
album
tee.
cover thing.
Yeah.
You should
Yeah.
get that.
Nah,
when he said that, I'm like, all right.
It took him
that's my
3
guy.
seconds. He's like, my
Like-
walkout song's "Juicy" by Biggie.
Man,
He
I'm
was
with
like,
it.
Would you
I'm
have
with
thought
it.
that?
Not necessarily. I do know he's a fan of like Prince and Michael Jackson and stuff like that. He's mentioned that.
Well, Prince is from Minnesota.
Yeah,
so I can
he's
understand
mentioned that in
one.
years past. We haven't talked too much about rap, but
Yeah.
it doesn't surprise me that much.
Yeah,
now that we talked
I
through it.
don't know if he listens to it, but I mean, he said it. And I'm like, okay,
Right.
we got respect. So you won nothing, you got nothing, and Sam's gonna set you up for
Yeah,
a
no,
nice
we-
assist here.
We appreciate you, Isaiah,
Yeah.
and congrats on a good season. And we're gonna give you the platform for a minute, just to, if there's anything you want to let the Ram faithful, boosters, alumni, student section, anything you guys are looking forward to the rest of the season here.
Hopefully, we're nowhere near done. I'm just super
We're
appreciative.
not. You got at least 4 more games.
Right. Nowhere close though.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, man, I just want to say that I appreciate them for welcoming me in with open arms years ago, allowing me to be myself. To Coach Medved and Coach Ali and that staff that I had at the beginning of my career for believing in me, pouring confidence into me, allowing me to be the player that I've always dreamt of, to have the freedom and the confidence to be myself. Yeah, man, Fort Collins is like another home to me. So Moby Madness has been nothing but special. We brought a spark back here that a lot of fans and supporters of the program said that they didn't experience prior to this run. So I'm glad that 2019 through 2024 has been special.
Yeah. So it wasn't a difficult decision to come back for another year.
Not at all. I think this time around was even easier than years past, man.
Really?
And honestly.
Well, we're big fans. Luke and
Yep.
I, we text a lot when we're watching games all around the country and stuff. And yeah, when you're on, it's must-watch TV, man.
Appreciate it.
the
Yeah.
most
The problem is
entertaining.
it's so damn late in
Yeah,
Akron,
man.
Ohio.
When you're
Nah,
watching
I
on the
feel
East
you.
I'm like,
Coast.
watching-
I'm not a
the
fan of the
game,
late
but,
starts either.
Yeah,
Man. I'm not
yeah,
a fan of.
Yeah.
No,
But-
we think you're the
Yep.
most electric guy on the court, man,
Yep.
and big fans of yours. Wish you nothing but the best, and I'm
Yep.
sure it's just the beginning.
Appreciate
Awesome.
you guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to the Full Court Press Podcast, a college basketball experience.
Let's get it, LT.